Hi, my name is Kristen, for those of you who don't know, and I am the Director of Nurture here at Salado United Methodist Church. And we are sitting in my dining room to talk about Advent with younger school age children today. So, first, let's think about what Advent means for me and for my family, maybe for you guys as well. For us, Advent is a way to break away from the hustle and bustle of American Christmas. Advent isn't about presents and it isn't about being busy. Advent is a time to slow down, to contemplate, to prepare. We spend Advent remembering Jesus' birth in Bethlehem all those years ago and thinking about what that means then and now. We also think about Jesus' future return and what we can do in the world to make others aware of the love and grace of God here and now. It's a time of remembering, contemplating, and anticipating. For my family, and probably for you, it's also a time to be intentional with our kids and making sure that they know the Christmas story, the other important stories that lead up to the birth of Christ, that they know that Jesus is coming back. And it's a time for us to work with them to think about their faith and how that can be lived out in the world. So, how do we celebrate Advent at home? Well, for my family, possibly for yours, we start with an Advent wreath. And everyone's Advent wreaths look different, but our family has a homemade Advent wreath, and so every year it's a little bit different. This year's Advent wreath is made out of one of my fancy bowls, and we have some pink and purple tea lights that we use in here, along with a white votive candle that we use for our Christ candle, and we just put them around. You can kind of see them there. Put them around in the middle of the bowl. And this is, sometimes we have greenery, sometimes it's a bigger bowl, sometimes it's a platter. Every year looks a little different, but this is one of the first things that we put out every year when we are preparing for our Christmas decorations. So what else do we do aside from just setting up this quite fancy wreath that we have here? Well, for my family, every Sunday after church, we take the family Advent devotional that the church has provided and we bring it with us to the table here where we eat lunch. We don't eat every meal at the table, but on Sundays at lunch at Advent, we do. And so we sit around the table and we begin. The kids alternate lighting the candles and blowing them out. That was something that they started doing when they were very young, and it's a tradition now every week. One gets to light, one gets to blow out the candles. Now that they're older, they take turns reading the scriptures and reading the prayers. And before that, we'd let our oldest kiddo read the prayers. And before that, we did it all. My husband and I alternate weeks on reading the devotionals and on asking the questions. So we take turns leading that discussion. A lot of times, the Advent devotionals for families that our church provides has a craft. And so a lot of times if we have time that Sunday afternoon, we will do the craft then, and sometimes we don't. So sometimes we leave that and we come back to it later on in the day or later on in the week. Sometimes we don't get to it at all, and that's okay. We try. We even find time to do the Christmas Eve devotional, as busy as Christmas Eve typically is for our family. And we actually take our wreath and our devotional with us to do the Christmas Day devotional with my family, whom we are typically seeing on Christmas Day. And then how do I celebrate Advent beyond that? Well, this is what we do with our kids. And beyond this, I usually do a personal daily devotional during Advent as well, specifically Advent focused. Sometimes the church provides that. We usually provide the upper room, and sometimes it's one I found on my own. This year I'm going to be doing picture Advent devotionals. I've used them in the past, and I really like Visio Divina, and I really like that visual way of processing the devotions. And so that's what we're going to do this year. And it definitely isn't fancy, but all four of us love and look forward to this opportunity to gather as a family of fellow believers, because that's what we are. The four of us are our own little family of fellow believers. And it's a chance for us to grow together in our faith. My husband and I love sharing our faith with our kids, even when it results in hard questions that we don't always know the answer to. I hope you and your family will find your own ways to make Advent special and meaningful to you this year. And I'd love to hear about how you guys are doing that. If you want to, you're welcome to take pictures of your Advent wreaths or of your family doing the Advent devotional and post pictures on the church's social media, the children's ministry page or the youth ministry page, and maybe hashtag it with SUNC Advent. And that way we can see how all of us are celebrating Advent at home this year, as we also celebrate as a larger community of faith together. So that's it. That's what my family does, and I look forward to hearing what your family does as well. I'll see you later.